Laura Riley. My name is Chris Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I contacted you on January 25th at 12:02 p.m. Do you remember reading that email? So I'm going to hold it up here, Laura. I'm going to read this whole thing. I'm going to talk to you first. So I'm demanding you answer me and you're refusing. Here it is right here. It's what I sent to you. Wednesday, January 25th, 12:02 p.m. with your email, send657585595 at gmail.com. So we're concerned about the state of your mind. Why is it your name in the email? Every email I send my whole life, 30 years, my name's been in the email. And your emails that I had when we were together, that have your name in it, bounce back to me. I do not know if you live at 781 Winifred Drive in Webster. I do not know if you work at the Fairport Public Library. I wish I could say, I don't care where you are and what you do. Because there was a point where I didn't care anything about you. And I remember thinking, I hope I never see her again. And the reason why I'm on YouTube is you introduced yourself into my life under some ridiculous guise that you think you're helping me. And then when I considered all the facts and circumstances of what's happening to me, I realized things are radically wrong. And what's radically wrong, Laura, and the reason why this is called court order at Laura Riley. It takes a court order to remove all my personal possessions from where we used to live at 26 Sanders Farm Drive in Penfield, New York, and transport my personal possessions to a storage locker in Webster. Court order. I wrote this down because I'm concerned about the state of your mind and what I believe is your inability to understand facts and circumstances, and most importantly, the law. Laura Riley, I'm going to read this email I sent to you. My main question is, was it the dead son, Giuseppe Spano, who called you to remove everything from my storage, from where we used to live in Penfield, to that storage locker? Or was it his 80-year-old psychopath father, Antonino? What is the answer, Laura Riley? It's in your best interest to answer. As I'm in the process of obtaining representation for what I'm going to do to the sheriff's office and district attorney's office civilly, I'm attempting to contact you because I'll be using your name. It is a crime, Laura Riley, to remove my personal possessions from when we used to live at 26 Sanders Farm Drive in Penfield, Webster, without a court order. I'll repeat myself. Laura, what is wrong with you? And you're in the residence. I'm not there. I don't know this is happening. And why didn't you take my books? Where are my books? What happened to my books, my 1,000+ books in that residence? There are other things you didn't take, too. Because when I went to the storage locker with Lori Pepperlisiski, I'm standing there, I'm looking at that storage locker, which is the destruction of my life. And then you called my sister, Barbara Stevatakis of Glenwood, Maryland, who you met to pay for it. I don't know this is going on. I don't know you're taking the things out of the residence where we used to live. I don't know you're calling my sister Barbara. I don't know the facts and circumstances of any of this. And it's done without a court order. Look at my face, Laura. You are totally, completely unrecognizable. If there is something wrong with your mind, and I'm not going to say what I think it is, then that's understandable. If you're the same person that you've always been, the same person I have known since January 4th, 1986, and there's nothing wrong with your mind, then that's what I believe is what you are, and what you are is unrecognizable. Tell me what happened, Laura Riley, with you taking every single fucking thing I own from where you used to live at 26 Sanders Farm Drive to that storage locker in Webster. And look at my face, Laura Riley. Look at me pointing at you. This is where to reach me. I'm sure you know that I'm not a person that has anger. But since I now own nothing and have nothing, when I'm on here and I have to use your name and think about you, I have to fight off being nauseous. So, Laura Riley, this is where you reach me. 620 Park Avenue, PNB number 361, Rochester, New York. That's just one document I've been sending to these psychopaths at the sheriff's office. Now, Laura, I use this ridiculous email here as I click on SEND657-58595. I'm going to click back and talk to you. And when I'm on here, I'm copying you. So I don't know if you still use this email or not that begins SEND. But this is an example I sent to you January 22nd, 2023. This is what I call Psychopaths Incorporated, the Sheriff's Office, District Attorney's Office. You blind copying on this here. I'm talking to the Sheriff's Office directly about these psychopaths. This is called perjury and violence. I've been violently attacked at Penfield Public Library, where I used to work, by Richard J. Siegman, Todd Baxter's $75,000 employee. So this is from February 5th that I sent to the District Attorney's Office, the Sheriff's Office. Now, they have this in their office, Laura. And Laura takes a list of blow. Now, what's in this document that arrived at the District Attorney's Office, Sheriff's Office, Penfield Town Court of New York State Supreme Court with Supervising Judge Alex Renzi is this. Well, look at my face. Tell me the answers. I'm going to ask you a series of questions that what you have received on January 25th, 2023 at 12:02 p.m. When I'm reading, so you watch me, I'll never know. If you watch me, when I ask you a question in this email that you received 3 months ago, the answers are, do you understand me, Laura Riley? Tell me what happened with my legal eviction. My legal eviction, you participated in refusing to answer questions about the law. Of course, a court order to remove my personal possessions, 26 Anderson Farm Drive, Penfield, New York, to a storage locker in Webster, New York. Do you know the fact about the law? You left possessions in a residence. What has happened to me is insane. The questions: 1, what did you call you to come to where we used to live at 26 Anderson Farm Drive, Penfield, New York? 2, did the dead son Giuseppe Spano or the father Antonino Spano call you? 3, did the dead son Giuseppe Spano or the father Antonino Spano use threatening language? 4, did the dead son Giuseppe Spano, the father Antonino Spano, state my personal possessions to be thrown in the trash? 5, what did you say to my sister Barbara about paying for the storage locker? It is insane I have to ask these questions. Our relationship ended. I am forced to demand answers from you because you decided to inject yourself into my life. You decided to be in my life under a sick and delusional belief that you're somehow helping me. I don't know if this is your email that doesn't have your name and begins ludicrously with quote, send, end quote. I don't know if you still live at 781 Winifred Drive in Webster, New York. I don't know why you refuse to respond to simple questions. I do know that you exist in a state of indifference to decency, despite the fact we lived at 3 different residences together. What's my name? Where am I from? How long have you known me? Contact me at my address on Park Avenue below with the answers to these questions. Aside if you register my return receipt when it arrives for me, you are unrecognizable. U2 4 Laura Riley. Again, U2 4 Laura Riley, Christopher Chichester, 620 Park Avenue, PMB number 361, Rochester, New York 14604. So, court order, Laura Riley. You recall, Laura Riley, why we moved from Webster to Penfield? Because we lived on the second floor walk-up apartment above Ed. And Ed had Tourette's syndrome, and he couldn't control himself. Quote, I'll fuck your mother, end quote. I mean, we would occasionally laugh about him. You're the one that told me he said, quote, I'll fuck your mother. And we would laugh. This is the Laura Riley I'll always know and love. Nobody laughs like you. So, Laura, there we are above Ed, in our life. Why I'm certainly happy. And I believe you would be happy because we're going to move from this residence to Webster and Penfield. I believe if you weren't happy, you wouldn't have wanted to move with me from Webster to Penfield. But before we move, Laura, we're going to be introduced to the Sheriff's Office. I believe this is the Sheriff's Office. This could be the local cops. But you can tell me if it's the local cops. I believe this is the Sheriff's Office that caused us to move. That's what I have in mind. This is 10 years ago. It's either the Sheriff's Office, which I call Psychopaths Incorporated, or it's the local cops. So Ed would throw things and yell, as I'm sure you remember, and we would hear him, and it would be a disgrace. So on this night, Laura, it's going to force us to move from Webster to Penfield. Ed starts to completely lose it, and he's throwing things and screaming, I believe. It was 10 years ago. I'm trying to be accurate about what I say, but it was a significant amount of noise that Ed's making. Well, we're trying to sleep past midnight. So then there's a period of silence, about 5 to 10 minutes, and that's when we hear the pounding on the door. And I get up, and I'm in boxer shorts and a T-shirt. And you get up, too, because you heard the same thing I did while we're asleep. I sit next to you and hold your hand. I think there's nobody like her. So we get up and we walk to the door, and you're behind me. I open up the door, and this is when I believe the Monroe County Sheriff's Office or the local cops, but it's a psychopath cop, Laura. I open the door, he grabs me on my t-shirt, he pulls me into home, and he throws me up against the wall, and my head hit the wall. It's the first time my head has collided with a hard surface because of a psychopath cop. And then I came off the wall, Laura, and I remember thinking, I'm going to stick my finger as close to his eye, which is what I did. I took my finger like this. I walked toward him as he's standing on the opposite wall. I put my finger right near his eye like this. And I said, the only reason you're allowed to do that to me is because you're wearing that ice cream man suit. And when I looked at his face, I could see the fear on him, which I loved. They left immediately. Then when I closed the door, you started to cry. It's about you because you were upset. That's what the focus should be on. Anybody in my life that's upset and has an emotional reaction, I always try to think about that person and looking at you cry. It's about you. That's what it should be because you're upset. However, this is one of the most difficult things I've ever had to look at my life when you're upset like that. And I understood why. So this violent attack upon me, my head slams against the surface the first time because of a psychopath cop, which is not happening to me repeatedly, is why we moved from Webster to Penfield. And you're hired at the Penfield Public Library, where I do not know. At the end of the hallway from the library entrance is Penfield Town Court with John P. Lomenzo Jr. and James Maloney Jr. John P. Lomenzo Jr. retired, and Paul C. Metzer was elected with 6,000 votes to take his seat in his repulsive little room. You know why I don't know Penfield Town Court is at the end of the hallway from the library entrance? Because there's no reason for me to be in court as a criminal defendant. I'm sure you recall I worked in Albany for Governor George Pataki, Senate Majority Ralph Marino, in Washington, D.C. for Congressman Mark Smith and Olympia Snowe. I have a speeding ticket in Washington, D.C. on 495 that was dismissed when I went to court. My colleague Jennifer Brown, when I worked for Congressman Smith, fill up for me. You don't have to worry about anything, she said to me. So, and I had a speeding ticket on Central Avenue in Albany, and it was also fixed for me by another friend. So I have my 2 speeding tickets that have been fixed for me, where I wasn't speeding. What do you think that says about a life? My 50th birthday, July 4, 2015. I got 2 speeding tickets in Albany, New York, and Washington, D.C. No points, no fine, nothing. It says I've always known, Laura Riley, what constitutes a criminal act. I have been in jail 6 times prosecuted in top court. And Laura, I'm copying you when I send YouTube to the Sheriff's Office attorneys. This is called ludicrous. This is Wednesday, April 5th. You're on here. I blind copied you. You got that. Which is called ludicrous. Silence at Monroe County Public Defender Julie Siakam. The Public Defender's Office refusing to tell me the names of my prosecutors. Silence, Laura Riley. And this one here, this is corruption. Mail the names of my prosecutors. Silence, the address of Noel Rochester, New York, the attached PDF documents. Resign. Silence and Monroe County Public Defender Julie Siakam. Mail the names of my prosecutors. Silence, the address listed below, or the attached PDF documents. Resign. Abuse of power, that's the perfect 3 words for these psychopaths, the Sheriff's Office, the District Attorney's Office, Todd Baxter, Sandra Bowling, these corrupt courts I've been in. Mail the names of our prosecutors, listed below, Rochester, New York, read the attached PDF. Resign. I'm not trying to be dramatic or engage in hyperbole. They need to resign because they're violating civil and constitutional rights of citizens. March 30th, read the attached PDF, mail the names of our prosecutors, listed below. Resign. So, over and over, these nauseating, sickening cretins, I'm telling them to disclose the names of my prosecutors. Laura Riley, pay attention. Again, tell me the answers. 1, what individual called you to come to wherever you live, 2600 Drum Drive, Penfield, New York? Did the dead son Giuseppe Spano, the father of Anthony Spano, call you? 3, did the dead son Giuseppe Spano and Anthony Spano use threatening language? Did the dead son Giuseppe Spano, father of Anthony Spano, state my personal possession be thrown in the trash? 4, 5, what did you say to my sister Barbara about paying for the storage lot? So, I get out of Livingston County Jail in Geneseo. I cannot be in Monroe County Jail because I'm told by a Livingston County Jail employee that my safety would be compromised. What that means is that I would be attacked by a Monroe County Sheriff officer employed to jail, and that's happened to me already. So there I am in Livingston County Jail. 2 Monroe County Sheriff Office employees come to Livingston County Jail. Pay attention to what process, never talk to court. They put the handcuffs on me in leg irons. I'm in shackles. They drive me to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office where they take the leg irons and shackles off me, and they return my bag to me, which doesn't have my wallet in it. Because I've already been released. I don't have to go to court to be released. I just have to get my property, and my wallet is not in there. I said, where's my wallet? These incompetents, buffoons, and stooges can't even keep my wallet in their property room. So I run down Penfield Road. You know what I'm going to say next, Laura Riley? Because you should. You know I'm a runner, right? When you were in the residence taking everything out of where we used to live, did you see the jerseys in there hanging on the chandelier with the numbers on them for the races I run, the 5Ks I run, while I'm beating guys half my age? Quote, I heard you're a really good soccer player, end quote. I've been an athlete my whole life, and that's one of the first things you said to me 35 years ago. So here I am running down Penfield Road, and I'm thinking about the great Mark Wahlberg and his run in the film The Gambler, which I love. It's this beautiful instrumental. If you go and you type ending scene The Gambler, you'll hear this beautiful instrumental, and you'll see him running. He's running to freedom, which is what I think I'm doing this night. But I'm not going to achieve freedom because I'm not going to be inside the residence because of you, Laura Riley. I get to the front door, I put the key in, it doesn't work. I'm thinking, what is going on here? This is not going to immediately know that this is going to be radically wrong. The sliding glass door was broken, and I would open it and close it. So what do I need the key for? It's in Penfield, New York. This is not the heart of Washington, D.C., where I live, the heart of Albany, where there is real crime, where I'd always make sure the doors were locked. Anthony Spano or Giuseppe Spano fixed the sliding glass door, and they're such psychopaths, Laura Riley. They went underneath the back porch and removed the key with a New York Mets logo to prevent me from opening the front door. These are all crimes. To lock me out without a court order is a crime. To lock that front door and change the lock without a court order is a crime. To fix the sliding glass door is a crime. To remove the key from the back porch is a crime. So I went to Harris Whalen Park, and I was sleeping in that park for 3 weeks. I'm in Wegmans at the 3rd week, and you walked into Wegmans. And I'm not going to go into where I went and where you took me. I would eventually arrived at where you took me because I was thinking about it. When you're not telling me, Laura Riley, when you're sitting across from me in the 2nd floor dining area at Wegmans on Penfield Road, is that you took everything to that storage locker. You're not telling me the facts and circumstances of either Giuseppe Spano or Anthony Spano are both locking me out. I'm being locked out without a court order. Laura Riley, court order. That's what it requires. For you to come in there and take everything out of my residence requires a court order. Do you understand what I'm talking about? To lock the doors and lock me out, that requires a court order. To remove everything from the storage locker in Penfield, to take it to Webster, that's a court order too. What's not to understand? Contact me, Christopher.Chichester@mail.com. Christopher.Chichester@mail.com. What's not to understand, Laura Riley? 620 Park Avenue, PMB number 361, Rochester, New York 14604. I'm going to send this to you using a mail.com account that I'm going to create, that I'm going to send to SEND657585595. Is that your email or not? Why doesn't your email have your name on it? Do you still live at 781 Winifred Drive in Webster? I don't know. Do you still work at the Fairport Public Library? I don't know. I'm going to come into the Fairport Public Library to see if you work there. I used to walk by there all the time because I go into Gold's Gym in Fairport and look right at it. What is wrong with you, Laura Riley, in refusing to answer my questions? Because, Laura Riley, it takes a court order, one, to lock the doors and lock me out, which is what Anthony Spano and Giuseppe Spano did to me, and two, to remove all my personal possessions from Penfield, New York, 26 Sanders Farm Drive, and transport them to a storage locker in Webster. So I've been in contact with these psychopaths over and over. February 22nd, 2022. It's called Insane. One judge, former Monroe County public defender. One judge. I did not know that one judge could sentence a defendant to jail in the state of New York despite my employment in Albany for majority leading government a long time ago for 7 years. And I'm in the process of trying to move back to Albany, which I will do. And I'm going to ask to meet with state legislatures about changing this law. One judge is the obliteration of a life. If Davis Hill or Sarah Hill were in jail without a prosecutor talking in court, I guarantee you, Laura Riley, would be in the pursuit of justice for Davis Hill and Sarah Hill. If Davis Hill or Sarah Hill were in jail 6 times, and 6 times a prosecutor didn't talk in court, I guarantee you, Laura Riley, would be in the pursuit of justice for Davis Hill and Sarah Hill. So, I'm having a difficult time understanding what I'm saying to you if you're watching me, because I'm trying to contact you. And I contacted you using SEND. This is called Vice. This is on February 19th. It's more than 6 weeks ago. I don't hear anything from you. I'm using your name. And this is February 16th, where it says on YouTube, answer Laura Riley. This is in the district attorney's office, the sheriff's office, where I'm again talking to you on YouTube and telling you what I'm going to tell you again now. Tell me what happened with my legal eviction. This is in the district attorney's office, the sheriff's office. This is what you have going for you, Laura Riley, when I write the criminal complaint. These Psychopaths Incorporated, district attorney's office, sheriff's office, don't know what constitutes a crime. This is the George Costanza sheriff's office, the district attorney's office, where the opposite is the truth. So, this is January 10th, 2023. I use red. Psychopaths like the color red, Laura. That's why this is red. And you live in Monroe County, I believe, right? This is why he's a joke at the sheriff's office. So when you go to the ballot box, you have to decide whether to vote for Todd Baxter or his opponent. Think about this foil here. I'm going to show you a picture. I'm going to make sure the picture's on there, which I hope it is. Cost of photography session, photo of 10 Monroe County Sheriff Office employees underwater pool approved by Sheriff Todd Baxter. This is why he's a buffoon, a stooge, incompetent. I'll copy the sheriff's office on this. This is what he's doing. He's refusing to tell me if this is this is public money. He said to me this is a private event. I'm telling this buffoon stooge, this Benito Mussolini skinhead, to tell you this is tax dollars. His response to me is a private event. This is why he's corrupt. Again, why he's corrupt. So, Laura, as you know, Hopkinsville, Kentucky is not in the state of New York. As you know, Clarksville, Tennessee is not in the state of New York. And as you know, Atlanta, Georgia is not in the state of New York. So taxpayer Laura Riley, this is what your taxpayers paid for. The cost of a hotel and plane ticket from Monroe County Sheriff's Office employee Ryan Fisher attend the Super Bowl in Atlanta, Georgia on February 3rd, 2019. This is Ryan Fisher in Atlanta, Georgia. Monroe County Sheriff's Office employee, this is Mercedes-Benz Stadium with the logo in Atlanta. This is why he's a joke. This is why he's corrupt. And then they're tweeting about it. Todd Baxter doesn't know when he's going to be corrupt, not to tell anybody about it, Laura Riley. He's tweeting, as we get ready to watch Super Bowl, we're grateful for men and women signing to keep fans playing safe in Atlanta, Georgia, including MCSO's own Deputy Ryan Fisher. Can't unload. Deputy Fisher sent this photo to Atlanta. From Atlanta, thank you both for your service. The 1984, this Benito Mussolini skinhead sending his employees. This is the flag of the state of New York, Laura. Excelsior. I just look at this capital, and I would think, this is why I love New York, means ever higher. Are you ever higher, Laura Riley? If you also strive to be ever higher. In striving to be ever higher, Laura Riley, tell me what happened with you taking every single thing I own from where we used to live, the 26 Sanders Farm Drive in Penfield, to a storage locker in Webster. This is what this Benito Mussolini skinhead is doing, is sending his employee, Ryan Fisher, voter Laura Riley, to Stars and Bars in Atlanta, Georgia. So, Laura, When I contact the sheriff's office, like for example, silence here. This is called silence. You're copied on here, blind copied on this ridiculous email, SEND. You see all these links here. I don't know if you watch me, I'll never know. But I am using your name on here. That's another reason why I'm contacting you. And what I'm going to hear from you, the reason why this is called silence, I'm not going to hear anything from the district attorney's office, sheriff's office. Well, I'm telling them to disclose the names of my prosecutors. And I'm going to hear total silence from you, Laura Riley, about the facts and circumstances of what's happened to me. And I have the payroll for the sheriff's office and district attorney's office. And this is the payroll for the district attorney's office. And one of these psychopaths is doing this to me, putting the screws to me and prosecuting me in total silence. I don't know who it is. And I've now been in contact with the United States Department of Justice. And I've been sending the United States Department of Justice in the person of Trinity Ross, the United States Attorney for Western District of New York, documentation. And the documentation I read about my illegal eviction, I've sent that to the U.S. Attorney's Office. So it is a crime, Laura Riley, to take everything I own from when we used to live in Penfield, New York, to stores like Webster, New York. Laura Riley, contact me. Christopher.Chichester@mail.com. 620 Park Avenue, PMB, number 361, Rochester, New York, 14604. You'll see that address right here. 620 Park Avenue, PMB number 361, Rochester, New York, 14604, Christopher.Chichester@mail.com. Tell me what happened, Laura Riley, because it requires a court order to take every single possession I own from 26 Sanders Farm Drive in Penfield, New York to Webster, New York. I will repeat myself because I'm concerned about the state of your mind, Laura Riley. We were in Kentucky one night, walking back to where we lived. And I was walking, and you turned around, and you jumped on my back, and I ran for a little bit with you on my back, and we were laughing about that. That Laura Riley I will always know and love. This Laura Riley is totally, completely unrecognizable. What is wrong with you, Laura Riley? Answer my questions, because it's in your best interest to answer and tell me what happened. And I believe you will continue to refuse. You are a tragedy of life, Laura Riley.